we have a special show where Ronnie himself will be picking a few tracks and sharing some stories of his favourite artists. First, though, we should probably start with the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones on this Planet Rock special with the one and only Ronnie Wood, picking some of his favourite tracks and artists, including one of his earliest influences.
Yeah, when I heard Johnny B. Goode for the first time, it just took me back. I remember being in my first group, the Byrds, and listening to this song with our bass player, Kim Gardner. He was my neighbour, and we used to enjoy discovering the American music because it was hard to get. And I never saw a picture of Chuck Berry for years. I never knew what he looked like. We just used to hear his music. The same with lots of people I'm playing today, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, and people like that, Jimmy Reed. You never knew what they looked like, but they just had the soulful, bluesy music coming through, and it really touched my soul. But, you know, this made me pick up the guitar, and you'll see why. And, you know, and Johnny B. Goode is the consummate song of the rock and roll guitarist and word writer. He's Chuck Berry writes the best words as well. So enjoy it. Johnny B. Goode.
Ronnie Wood is picking the music on Planet Rock tonight. And as you can imagine, some of these tracks come with stories of mischief.
I went to see Elvis once with the Faces back in the late 60s. It was in Vegas. And I remember Sammy Davis Jr. let me in the queue. He said, "You want to come up here? Come on." You know, there was a big, long queue. Anyway, so we got in. The Faces had a few, and we made a little bit of a noise in there, and we got thrown out for rocking and rolling too much. It was at the time that people used to hear the music start jiving in the aisles and ripping up the furniture and the seats in the cinemas. When Jailhouse Rock first came out, you'll see why when you hear this song. Here's Elvis Presley with the consummate song, Jailhouse Rock.
Ronnie Wood is picking the music on Planet Rock tonight. And as you can imagine, some of these tracks come with stories of mischief.
I went to see Elvis once with the Faces back in the late 60s. It was in Vegas. And I remember Sammy Davis Jr. let me in the queue. He said, "You want to come up here? Come on." You know, there was a big, long queue. Anyway, so we got in. The Faces had a few, and we made a little bit of a noise in there, and we got thrown out for rocking and rolling too much. It was at the time that people used to hear the music start jiving in the aisles and ripping up the furniture and the seats in the cinemas. When Jailhouse Rock first came out, you'll see why when you hear this song. Here's Elvis Presley with the consummate song, Jailhouse Rock. One of the first records my brother Art brought home to me was a song we'll hear later in the show called Shame, Shame, Shame by Jimmy Reed. And this EP, there was an EP with 4 tracks on it. We used to buy them a lot when I was young. It had a 45 record, but you could get one with 2 tracks per side, called an extended play. And Smokestack Lightning and Howlin' Wolf was one of the first things that moved me so much that to play that riff on the guitar, you know, it's still wonderful on the drums, and Howlin's voice and harmonica. Chester Burnett, that's his real name, Howlin' Wolf. So this song turned me on when I was a kid. It's called Smokestack Lightning. It will turn you on now.
Howlin' Wolf, And Smokestack Lightning, chosen by Ronnie Wood on Planet Rock. Now, Ronnie has designed a special limited edition T-shirt for Planet Rock's charity Cash for Kids, with all profits going directly towards helping children who are living in poverty and families who are struggling through the current economic crisis. There's little over 24 hours left to pre-order yours, so if you haven't already, you can head over to planetrock.com/cashforkids before midnight tomorrow. On the way next, Ronnie talks about how Motown was a big influence on the Stones.
The next song is a bread and butter song any good rock and roller would love. And back in the Faces days, I used to hang out with this singer called David Ruffin from The Temptations. And the Stones still play this song today, so enjoy. Ain't Too Proud to Beg. I was just in this studio in Detroit, the Motown Studios, and it's such a lovely little house. And all of the songs, you know, the Temptations and the Four Tops and you name it, the songs that were made in this little house. And another song made in the Motown little house studio is this one by the Contours. It's called First I Look at the Purse. You can hear the sound of the room and the actual soul coming out of this live recording. Moving on to Muddy Waters now with Mannish Boy. This is the iconic Roots song and the godfather of the blues, Muddy Waters singing Mannish Boy. Oh, yeah. The next record, Shame, 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 is one that really moved me. I've just made an album tribute to Jimmy Reed, and I allowed Paul Weller to sing it, but I really wanted to sing it because it was one of the first songs that ever influenced me into wanting to play live blues, you know, and luckily the Stones still do, and they were heavily influenced by Jimmy Reed too. So enjoy Shame, Shame, Shame. This selection, which is my final one for now, is a very oddball I'm throwing at you, but it's a wonderful melody. I love melodies, and Brian Wilson is such a great songwriter. And the Beach Boys, there's an album out where you can hear just their vocals. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's worth checking, and they are incredible. And this one is a song by Brian Wilson, the Beach Boys, I Just Wasn't Made for These Times. So enjoy yourselves, and see you soon. Bye, this is Ronnie Wood, signing off. I keep looking for a place to fit in.
The final choice of Ronnie Wood, who, along with Rob Halford and Rodney Matthews, has designed one of the 3 exclusive T-shirt designs for Planet Rock, with all profits going to help our charity Cash for Kids.